Thought Bubble Audio.
Look, up in the sky!
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Welcome to Beer with Geeks with Tim and Frank.
Who are you?
I'm Batman.
I am Iron Man.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Hi, Christopher. I'm Nero.
My name is Inigo Montoya.
You're a wizard, Harry.
A couple of guys with a couple of beers and a whole lot of pop culture nostalgia.
Make it so, number one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
Named the dog Indiana.
Life finds a way.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Now sit back and crack open a cold one, because it's time for Beer with Geeks.
It comes in paints.
Shaken, not stirred.
Great Scott!
I was way off. I knew it started with an S, though.
Hi, and welcome to Beer with Geeks, where two geeks geek out with beer. I'm Tim, and with me, as always, is the man that's looking more and more like the current J. Jonah Jameson. It's my friend Frank. How are you today?
I think that's a compliment.
I mean, I think it's a compliment. I think J.K. Simmons is a fabulously good-looking man.
J.K. Simmons can get it. Yeah, for sure.
I think so.
For sure. Yeah.
I think so. We're at a strange angle.
We are reunited, recording in person for the first time in a while, and it feels so good.
It feels so good. My neck will not feel good.
No,
this
probably
is
not.
So funny.
Yeah.
I'm going to stare at the cat
that
instead and
sounds
feel
good.
like I'm talking to the cat.
Hi, it's good to see you in person.
It's great to hear you and see you out of my peripheral vision in person.
It's okay. For the sake of your neck, I will let that happen.
And I can see you in the TV. This is perfect.
Oh yeah. Hi there. Hi.
Hey.
What's happening? Should we put on our webcams? Should we get our webcams for across the room like we normally do?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
That's
god.
so funny.
So what you been drinking lately?
I had time to kill. I was waiting for you to leave work today. So I ended up going to a rooftop bar, and it was amazing. And there was like on the menu, it was like draft beer, seasonal, and I was like, all right, well that doesn't tell me much. So I was like, good sir, what is your seasonal draft beer?
You're like Scrooge, like, boy, go fetch me the largest goose.
Boy, what day is it?
Go fetch me the hoppiest beer.
If it's a beer I like, I'll give you half a crown. So anyway, so I said, good sir, like, what is your seasonal beer? And he told me that it was a Hoppy Pilsner. And I said, great, I'll have that. And I had two of them. I don't know what it was, though, because he was like, it's a Hoppy Pilsner.
So, unknown Hoppy Pilsner for you.
It was, it was really good, too. And so everyone go to, I don't know if people know where you live or not. Everyone go to a place.
Redacted.
Everyone go to Redacted and have
the hotel bar at Redacted is fantastic.
The Hoppy beer.
Yeah. Sounds good.
The Hoppy Pilsner.
The Hoppy Pilsner. Okay.
What are you drinking?
Well, I am having, I never know how to pronounce this, if it's Abita or Abita, Abita, Turbodog Brown Ale.
Abita.
Abita? I never know if it's Abita or Abita, but it's good.
Abada, life goes on.
Oh,
Ooh.
they're okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to like, I'm blue,
also a good choice.
I was at a wedding recently, and they played that song, and it just blew my mind. I hadn't heard it in forever, and I still remembered all the words.
Blew your mind.
Blew my mind. I should have the bell out here. Yeah. And it was great. But yes, this Turbodog Brown Ale is delicious. It's much like a Newcastle Brown Ale. If you've had one of those, but I think I like it a little better. So,
good.
Yeah,
good.
It's very, very, very good. Very, very, very good. Another thing that was very, very, very good, I thought, was the most recent chapter in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Indeed, I also thought it was very good, Frank.
I thought it was quite good.
Yes.
I enjoyed it.
Do you think that it is the best Spider-Man movie since Spider-Man 2, as many I have seen claim?
That's a tough call. I've been reflecting on whether I liked this better than Spider-Man: Homecoming. By the way, I'm thrown off that they both have the word home in them, so I keep using the wrong term. So if I do that in this podcast, sure, listeners, you'll forgive me. But
Tom Holland has joked that the next one called Spider-Man Homeless.
I mean, it could be.
It could be. Spoilers for Spider-Man: Far From Home from here on out.
From here on out, yes.
Yeah, easy enough.
Yeah. I did like it. I would say it was probably the. Is it better than Spider-Man: Homecoming though?
I think
Spider-Man: Homecoming is better.
I think so too.
Spider-Man: Homecoming was the best in Spider-Man 2. But this is a pretty close second after that.
Yeah, and in some ways, ranking is like they're all different movies, even if they are Spider-Man. And ranking sometimes only like goes as far as like it's not bad. Therefore,
It's not bad.
It's in the good side
Yes.
of the ranking.
Yes.
And that's fine, and that's good enough for me. I really
It's not like green,
enjoy it.
yellow, red, right? And it's like it's in the green for me.
For a movie that takes Spider-Man out of New York, which is something that always kind of ruffles my feathers. You know, like some people like get upset when Batman leaves Gotham. I kind of get that way when Spider-Man leaves New York, because there's just something about swinging around on the buildings. I was so entranced by the cast in this film, and I love Europe, so it didn't. You know what I mean? It didn't bother
it
me
didn't
the
bother
way
you,
that
yeah.
I thought that I was like, oh, but I want to see New York.
I did like that they moved around New York. By the way, that chair reclines. If you want to lean back, you can do that.
I'll lean back for the next episode.
But I did like that they went around Europe and they weren't just in one city the whole time because I wasn't sure what to expect in that regard. If they would just be like, okay, we're in Paris or whatever. And I didn't watch too much in terms of trailers and stuff. A little bit, but I wasn't. I don't know. I was just sort of like, whatever. I'm gonna like it. I'm not gonna get. I wasn't super hyped up. I knew I was gonna see it either way, and I wasn't getting too hyped up on it. But
I feel that way about a lot of Marvel now. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I know I'm gonna see it, so I really don't want to get too hyped because then I'm gonna walk away going, it wasn't what I thought, and this scene was different than I thought, and this wasn't there. And
I don't want to give myself expectations.
nope, no,
You know?
it's always a downer.
I trust that I'm going to enjoy a Marvel movie, and so I'm just like, all right, this is. I sort of passively watched the trailers, but I didn't like obsessively pick at every frame of them. So I wasn't sure what cities we'd be in, or if it'd be, okay, we're just in London or Paris or whatever, and we're staying there the whole movie. So I liked that they moved around a little bit. That was cool, to have a changing backdrop. What did you make of Mysterio?
I guess prelude or a introduction is that Mysterio is one of my favorites. So if you look at Batman and his Rogues Gallery are my favorite. Everyone kind of on this who will listen to this podcast pretty much know that. But Spider-Man's my second, and his Rogues Gallery is is right up there. So it's like Green Goblin, and then kind of Mysterio.
Really?
I love Mysterio. I have since I was a kid. I think it's a cool look. I don't know why. It just is. I had a Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends VHS tape when I was growing up, and it was Mysterio tricking everyone in Hollywood, making a movie, and the Hulk is a robot, but then the real Hulk shows up, and it's wild. It's wild. He's like, Spider-Man, star in this movie. And also, the death traps are real. They're not just special effects. Anyway, I really love Mysterio, and I was so happy with this version of Mysterio.
Good.
And I wasn't at first. It was until, obviously Mysterio's the bad guy. If you're anywhere remotely close to a comic fan, you're like,
yes,
obviously he's the bad guy. Obviously he's lying.
Yes.
That's his thing.
Yes.
So I was kind of waiting for that punchline, but the first half of before his big his big speech, which was great, and we'll talk about.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, he's really wooden. I was a little disappointed.
yeah.
I was like, I was like, Jake Gyllenhaal, you're a better actor than this. I was a little disappointed, and then his speech happened, and I was like, oh, this is great.
There it is.
This is great. And then the Mysterio costume isn't really real. It's a mocap suit with the fishbowl. He looks even dumber than his it's really great.
Yeah.
And I particularly loved and I didn't love the Tony Stark gang up thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because 3/4 of the villains in the Marvel universe are Tony's fault.
Yes. That is true. So you're saying there's already enough villains that are Tony's fault. We didn't need a whole new rogues gallery, essentially, that were all Tony's fault in one fell swoop.
The Vulture is also Tony's fault.
That's right.
So
yes.
now that's 2 Spider-Man villains that are Tony Stark's fault. That Peter is essentially just cleaning up Tony's mess.
So Peter has Tony to thank for showing him the ropes and giving him all the tech and all this stuff. But also, it's Tony's also his biggest problem.
Yep. That is correct.
Because Tony also, like, he followed Tony into space and got killed. He got, like, all this, every bad thing that's happened. Now Tony's best friend is dating his aunt. Like, every bad thing that happens
Or
to Peter.
are they?
Yeah.
It's all Tony.
Are they dating? Who knows?
I know. Edith is even dead. I'm the hero.
Yeah.
Is like maybe it should be,
Everything is Tony's fault. Wow.
It should be Edith. Even dead, I'm the villain. Like that's really what it is. But anyway, so what sold Mysterio for me in this film was the illusion scene. Where everyone was like, Doctor Strange is the trippiest movie in the MCU, and Mysterio was like, hold my beer.
Yeah, I know.
like I'm coming at you with a zombie Iron Man.
Yeah.
Get on my level.
That was something else.
Mm-hmm.
That was really something else. That'll give you nightmares for days.
It made Mysterio. That scene particularly made Mysterio very dangerous,
yes.
And that's what I really liked about it, because he ends up getting hit by a train, because all Mysterio does is trick him into front of a train. Into front of a train.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of like everything that Marvel villains, MCU villains do, like. That's next level trickery.
Oh,
Even Loki doesn't trick people to that.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. No, that is true. He tripped him. Right. He tricked him. He trapped him. He tricked and trapped him.
Mm-hmm. Tricked and trapped him.
Yep. Yeah, he did, and that was pretty cool. Now, I was sort of the whole first act. I was sort of waiting for the Mysterio reveal to happen, right? Like, when's it going to happen? Because I knew it was going to happen eventually. I'm not that familiar with Mysterio, but I obviously know these are Spider-Man villains, so it's like, when does it happen? And I was satisfied with the way it happened.
Me too. I love when they dive back into the MCU and reward you for being a fan.
Yep.
And I think one of my favorite parts of the film was going back and being like, oh, that tech from Civil War, that's Quentin Beck's.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this guy that gets yelled at in Iron Man 1, he's going to be a villain now.
And that's actually the same actor. Like, they didn't that's actually that guy was in Iron Man 1
from A Christmas Story.
Yeah. Is that really the kid from A Christmas Story?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. That's fun. But yeah, that was actually him, and that was actually the footage from Iron Man 1. They didn't reshoot it or anything that's actually it.
I know why you know they didn't reshoot it, because he flips his tie. Jeff Bridges Tony Stark built this with a box of scraps.
Right.
But he hits his tie and it goes flying.
So I love that. That is true continuity. They didn't retcon anything or reshoot it or CG somebody into an old scene or anything.
Nope.
It's just the footage.
It's
the real
just
thing.
the footage.
It's the real deal. I loved that. We'll get to the post-credit stuff in a bit, but did you feel you said that you thought Jake Gyllenhaal's acting at first seemed a little wooden and stiff.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of felt like Samuel L. Jackson was phoning it in for most of the movie.
Now,
and that was before I knew the post-credit stuff, right? But before that happened, I was like, I feel like he's being very stiff, and he's kind of phoning it in. Now having seen the post-credits, I'm like, so was that on purpose, or was he just phoning it in because he was like, whatever, I'm done with this?
I don't know if it's phoning it in necessarily as comfortability. It's not challenging for him anymore.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Samuel in an MCU. I haven't really after. I would say maybe Winter Soldier. I haven't really seen
Captain Marvel though. He was pretty great in Captain Marvel.
I would say he was still kind of phoning.
Really,
it in.
You do? Okay,
yeah.
All right.
Not terribly phoning it in, but it's funny. I just watched Pulp Fiction last week or the week before for the first time. I had never seen it.
Ooh.
And I was watching Samuel L. Jackson. I was like, by God, you're a good actor.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had forgotten because it had been so long since I've seen him not phoning it in, really.
Yeah.
And so because he's so used to him showing up in the MCU and he's doing a Sam Jackson thing, you hire him to play Sam Jackson now.
Sure.
So post-credit scene aside, I did not really feel that, actually.
Okay.
But there was something off about him.
There was, and so now I'm sort of giving the benefit of the doubt, and I'm like, all right, maybe what I was sensing was intentional. Maybe that was,
It could have been.
Maybe he knew that was going to be the case, and so he played it a little bit differently.
It could have been. There are a couple of tells in the movie that he's Talos.
I think they said Talos.
Talos,
I think.
Anyway, There's a couple of tells because in the in the trailer he says like, "Oh, Beck's from Earth, just not ours."
Right.
But in the movie, he says he's from Earth, just not yours.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool. And then they talk about Kree sleeper cells at one point, like
They did.
offhandedly.
I did catch that. I did catch that reference.
Yep,
Yes.
offhandedly to one another. Yeah. I enjoyed that he was a Skrull, that Nick Fury, I would assume after the funeral, was like, I'm going away for a little while.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's what happened. Although he did reference the funeral, maybe Talos just knew that.
I think Talos knew that.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be like Nick Fury to be like, this is like a brief catch-up thing.
Sure,
but
sure.
I think Tony dying is enough, and him getting, blipped and then coming back, I think that's enough for even Nick Fury to be like, I need a bit of a break.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it didn't start, this new era of Nick Fury's life started with Tony, really, and so for Tony to die really allows Nick Fury to question his own mortality, also because he died himself.
Sure.
And so I think he deserves a little bit of a vacation.
Yeah.
So I like that he went away. It's cool.
I think that's cool. I guess, is Maria Hill there too, I guess?
I don't know.
I wonder.
I don't know. That's a good question.
And of course, then the question becomes like, are there others? Are there other people who are?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, right.
Definitely.
So I'm curious about that. Is the term blipped from comics?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I kind of was expecting that they would have used snapped in universe.
I thought so too, but why would anybody on the planet
specifically know
that Thanos snapped? So somebody else has to come up with a name for it.
That's how I've been. That's my headcanon too.
I don't know if blipped is the best word for it.
I don't know that it is either.
It feels too nonchalant.
Do you know snap has such a satisfying sound to it, and it's like it feels like
final,
very final and descriptive of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And blipped, sort of, you're right, sounds too nonchalant.
Yeah, because they don't really blip out. I mean, they don't really snap out either. But I still think they should call it the Great Dust Bowl.
Dusted feels better.
Dust Bowl 2.
Didn't somebody say dusted in Endgame? Maybe. I feel like someone may have.
I can't remember.
That even feels better for an in-universe word than blip. But whatever.
Yeah, but it also is like people to downplay tragedy.
That's true.
So to be like, we all die, but we're back, so we can we got to make light of it to feel better about it.
I did like that they acknowledged the age difference for the high school kids.
That little video is great.
That video at the beginning is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god! And was that Betty Brant in the last movie?
Yes,
she was, right?
Yeah,
okay,
kid.
I thought so.
Yeah,
I knew she looked familiar, so there you go. That's why. That opening video was too funny because for a hot second, right? They did it in just the right way that for a hot second you think it might be really opening the movie with in memoriam, except that it's in Comic Sans all lowercase, and then the pictures are grainy and low res, and it just becomes increasingly more clear that this is what you're watching.
There's even like a Shutterfly watermark.
Yes, the
on
watermark.
Water,
oh my god,
like that.
Great.
It was so good. I actually found that the high schoolness, being a high school teacher, I found the high schoolness of this movie on point.
Yeah, you thought it was realistic.
So accurate and realistic. Even being a a European trip.
Yeah, okay. I wanted to ask about this
because I've taken several trips with students to Europe, and so JB's Move and Martin Starr became my favorite part of the movie because I related to them so much. Just like them showing up at the Da Vinci Museum, be like, it's closed until November. Oh yeah, I should have checked the website.
Yeah.
You didn't check the website? Oh yeah, that's a
good idea.
Or him going down to the bus driver and be like, he's not there, and he goes back up. It's like, well, the bus driver's gone, and then the hotel is crap. I'm like, oh my god, add supervillains into my life, and it's pretty much exactly the same thing.
So your life is just a more boring Spider-Man Far From Home.
Oh my god, it was so good. I've gotten stuck in Europe with kids before, because flights flight attendants went on strike, and so we got stuck in Europe because we literally couldn't fly home. And then the tour company was like, "Here's this free stuff." So when he was like, "Free tickets from the opera," I was like, "Been there."
Nice.
That is so. It's all very weirdly accurate. It's
too funny.
It's so funny.
Too funny. I like that MJ figured out on her own.
Me too. That was a really strong scene.
Yeah, that was really, really good. Such a good. Oh man, just the whole thing where Peter's working up the courage and he finally gets the courage, and then she undercuts it with like, "You're Spider-Man." So great. And I was actually worried at that moment that maybe just like Peter thought, like what I and the audience maybe mistook for her also liking him slyly was really just her being interested because he was Spider-Man. I was worried for a second. I was like sad for him until it became clear that she liked him too.
Yeah.
But for a hot second there, I was just like, oh no, poor Peter. Like he thought she liked him, but she's just interested in him as a curiosity. Like, and I just like I felt for him, but then yay, happy ending.
I know. I liked his like denial, but then like the image. I was like, you know what? I am Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I messed up, and I have to deal with this.
Yes.
Like,
wait, are you serious? Because I was on like 65% sure.
Yeah. I liked Ned's not so subtle jealousy too. He's like, I'm known longer. It's not a competition, but whatever.
You know,
yeah. But I've known longer. It's real good. Even Ned's romance with Betty Brant.
Oh,
but then
man.
like they broke up at the end. I can't even tell you how accurate that is.
So I mean, just the fact that over the course of the flight they got together and then broke up by the
so funny because Ned Leeds and Betty Brant are an item in the comics.
Oh, I
they
didn't realize
get
that.
married.
I
Ned
didn't realize
Leeds
that.
becomes the Hobgoblin and dies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
I didn't realize that they were married. I love that. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. That's a great little piece of continuity that they pulled in there.
It is a great piece. What do you think about Spider-Man or Peter like adopting this Tony Stark 2.0 kind of persona? Like he's on the plane and he's building his new spider suit, and it's just like Iron Man 1, and he even like puts the little, like he puts the web shooter on like Tony puts on the repulsor blast.
Yeah,
it's the same. It's the same. It's the same
same
note,
beats,
same beats.
Yeah,
Not even the
yeah,
same
yeah.
notes in the melody.
Oh, the music, actual music.
Yeah, the actual music, and it's
It's
such
true,
a
it
nice
was.
callback.
I liked that a lot because I feel like they've been setting Peter up to be the next Tony Stark, and not I don't mean by that the next Iron Man. I mean the next Tony Stark, the next inventor, wonderkind, genius.
To which Peter is,
He is.
which is always underplayed in his films, except for the MCU.
Yes.
And so I've seen some people complaining that like, they're next Iron Man. I'm like, you understand that Peter invents all his own stuff, right?
He invents the web shooters. He invents all these things. Like in the comics and in previous, in cartoons and stuff, and other incarnations other than the films, basically. He is an inventor.
That's right.
And he is a genius. And he is like, that's why initially, I think in Amazing Fantasy number 15 and the early incarnation, he was going to like a science high school, like a trade school.
That's right.
Because he was a genius and he was really good at science,
Right.
like that's the whole thing. So and Oscorp internships and the like. So I'm pretty happy that they're actually acknowledging that and making it a big part of his character.
Me too, because I've not that I didn't mind organic web shooters and and whatever else, and then he takes the webbing from Oscorp and the Amazing Spider-Man, but there's something that had always been missing about Peter is that he is a wonderkin, like you said, and part of Peter's charm is that he's so smart but just doesn't get it. He has zero common sense when he's not wearing the mask.
Yes.
And I think that's part of the draw of Peter is that he's not invincible. Like Tony has hubris, which makes him invincible Iron Man.
Yes, the Vince. Clearly, he was vinced.
Yeah, he was vinced.
Yes.
And Peter lacks common sense. So they all have these flaws that make them a little bit more relatable than just like they're a super genius.
Yes. Yes.
So. What do you think of the multitude of Spider-Man costumes in the film? Did you miss the blue and red? Or
not particular, not really. Night Monkey was pretty cool.
Oh, it was so funny. Night Monkey. Oh, Night Monkey.
Oh my god, I love it. They were actually calling him Night Monkey in the news, and
so good,
man. But no, I did miss the blue and red too much.
Do you think that Mysterio is dead? Please say no.
No, of course not.
No, of course he's not dead. How
Did
would
you
he have-
see him dead?
Did you see that video, which he clearly filmed afterward?
Right. Well, I assumed he had filmed it before, but yeah. I mean, he's not dead.
No,
If you didn't see the body, he's not dead.
He
And
ma-
even if you saw the body, he might not be
He
dead.
makes too many references to people believe anything these days. And
His
this,
whole
like,
thing is illusion.
illusion.
He's obviously not dead.
I know.
Right?
I don't think anybody really believes that he's dead either. I haven't
No.
seen anybody being like, "Wow, they killed off a villain." Like,
No.
nope.
Now, what would be
Sorry,
great?
they got to build towards Sinister Six. Sorry.
Well, yeah, that's it, right? Like that's
they
what
already
needs to happen.
they already have fully fledged Mysterio and Vulture. They have a semi-fledged Shocker.
Yeah.
And they have a man with a scorpion tattoo on his neck.
Okay, that can work. We can work with that.
Yep. I'm pretty sure they even called him Gargan in Homecoming.
Did they?
So I'm pretty
Okay.
sure.
I mean, they have all the tools they need to set it up if they want to.
Come on, Kraven the Hunter.
Let's do
Next,
it.
let's do
Let's do it.
So anyway,
Spider-Man Homeless versus Kraven the Hunter.
Mm-hmm. Home hunting.
Spider-Man House Hunters International.
No, we were just international. I want to do it again. So because the end, they go back to New York and it's all set and it's lovely, and then the best cameo in the MCU. J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh, I lost my mind. I lost my mind.
Yeah.
I lost my mind because they made him like an Alex Jones character.
That's right.
With the InfoWars type thing with Daily Bugle being like a fringe, like podcast thing, like web series thing. Oh my God, I lost my damn mind.
I even love that it's dailybugle.net.
.net. It's not even .com.
Like Jonah can't get on the level like it was .net in 1996, and he's never been and he never changed it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I am so here for that. I want more of him.
Mm-hmm.
I want him to be like a character in the next movie. I want Peter to work for him and be a photographer for him.
I don't even necessarily care if he works for him. I just want him to show up and like make Peter's life miserable via the magic of TV. And like webcasting.
It is now. No, I appreciate that they gave him a different look. They gave him his real look, basically. His J.K. Simmons' real look.
Basically had a mustache.
But it was a little bit of a shame because we all know how much he looks like the comic accurate version.
That's true. I'm sure it was a little bit of J.K. Simmons kind of showing up and being like, "Look, I'll be back because this is an easy gig for me. Absolutely zero problem with that. But I'm not incredibly interested in putting on a wig for a couple hours, even if it's only for a day, and if this is a continuing series of appearances by J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson, then he might not be down with that. And also, they feel like they have to differentiate his look enough for people who would see him as J. Jonah Jameson again and be like, "Oh my God, is the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man also in this universe?" Because J.K. Simmons is back, so you kind of have to quiet those voices as well.
Yeah, that's a valid point. And we had heard a rumor that maybe that was going to happen, that Toby and
Andrew
Garfield were both going to appear as like alternate universe Spider-Man, which I was so pulling for. And when he talked about alternate universes, and this is 616, I was he mentioned 616.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad that you said that. It's not the 616. So how do
well, he was just BSing. I mean, like he was.
That's true. He was BSing. And I will give you that. But it's almost, well, I guess it's like the CW where they're like, "This is Earth 1.
Yeah.
And they're like, "No, it's not.
No, it's not.
You're Earth whatever, something or other."
Yeah,
because Earth 1 is the comics.
It's Earth 1 ONE. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like I was sort of hoping for that, especially because Tom Holland in a couple of interviews, people asked him, "Oh, what are the chances we'll see Tobey Maguire?" And he was like, nothing. I don't know. Shut up. I can't answer that.
Yeah.
And it was super suspicious the way he did that.
I mean, I think now he's good at deflecting.
Maybe he was deflecting, or maybe he knew about Jameson, and so he was sort of like, nope, definitely no references to the old movies. Let's move on.
Yeah, that's true. Although if I were Marvel, knowing that Tom Holland's not good at keeping secrets, I would have left out where it would just been like newscast and this info's released, and it wouldn't have said anything.
Not let them know.
It wouldn't have had anything about Jameson because he obviously reacts to nothing when you're filming.
Yes,
it,
right.
You know. Oh, so anyway, so yeah, his identity is out there now.
His identity's out there now, which was crazy and
unexpected.
Totally unexpected. I was so distracted by Jameson that I was. All I was going to say was it's such a shame because we know how much he looks like Jameson from the comics.
Right.
That it's a shame that we don't get to see that, but I totally agree with you that it's probably for the best that they didn't just use the same makeup and stuff. Yes, now Peter's identity is out, and how do you think that works out? Do you think that they undo it? Do you think that he convinces everyone? Oh, never mind.
I know.
Tell
Pick me.
Yes, you there.
Oh, it's me from class.
Yeah,
from podcasting.
Yeah, you there with the unnamed beer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It never in the video footage. It only shows Peter's like waist down. It never actually shows his face. You hear him talking, but you only see Mysterio, and then it shows a picture of Peter's face.
Separate. Oh, I see.
So
You're saying
all
okay.
He has to be is like that's not true.
That's not me.
That's not me. I mean, if Peter's better at keeping secrets than Tom Holland,
if he can somehow fake having been somewhere, fake an alibi, fake having been somewhere else.
That's right. Peter's an Avenger. Like, don't forget. Like, he knows all of these people. Like, I don't think it's as big of a deal as the film wants us to think it is. But I do think that this is what brings Kraven the Hunter to town to hunt Spider-Man.
Okay.
So he's trying to convince. So if Peter's trying to convince the world that he's not Spider-Man, meanwhile Kraven the Hunter is like, but obviously you're Spider-Man,
right?
You know, because Kraven's Russian. So
right.
Yeah,
naturally.
Right. No, he is. Yeah. Sergei Kravenov.
Yes. Yeah.
You think he's, Australian? Although actually in the Ultimate Universe,
I was
going to
say the one from Ultimate Spider-Man is, but I don't know. I hope it's something like that. I was like, they're not going to go like Reality Zone or something, right? Like that would be.
No, I don't think so. I think that it's an easier out than the movie wants us to think it is. But sometimes the MCU leaves you on like a, oh my God, how are you going to get out of this moment? And then it's like it's cleaned up in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And so, but I do think it opens the door for people to come knocking at Peter's door.
I agree.
Which, you know what I mean?
They made a point of saying in this film that like everybody who knows his secret is in danger, right? Like they made a point of saying that his friends are now in danger because now more of them know his identity.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that will come to fruition in the next film.
I agree.
Do you think MJ's in any kind of real danger?
No.
Yeah, I kind of don't.
Probably not. I would say probably not because she's still no. I think they're still like. I think that the supporting cast in these films are excellent, and they really brought it all the way up. I can't think of his name. The guy who plays not Buzz, Flash Thompson. The guy who plays Flash Thompson.
Oh, I don't know his name, but
Grand Budapest Hotel. He's the kid from
Grand
Budapest
that's right.
Hotel. I know people are like, he's not traditional Flash Thompson, whatever. He's so good. Because he has this underlying story about his parents ignoring him.
Yes.
Through this whole movie. Like, he's this rich kid who just wants somebody to love him, and I loved that.
He's a complex character. Yeah. Like, he's a bully, but because he's hurt.
Yeah. Could father not come?
Right.
Could mother not
right.
Come? Like,
right. It's so that it's he's wounded.
Yeah.
And that's why he acts out.
Right. And I think that they all have like these little stories like that. And I think that there's more to see from all those characters, in which why I don't think they're in any particular real danger.
Sure.
Characters that are newly introduced, like Brad, like Smelia.
Yeah, Brad.
Yeah.
I did like that Brad that they made a character out of the whole blip time difference thing, where the rest of them are the same age, but Brad aged into their age group.
Mm-hmm. That was cool.
That was clever.
That was very. I thought that was very clever, and I like that. It's very fortunate that MJ and Flash and Ned all got blipped, but
yes.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't really care.
No, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. And Betty, for that matter, I guess.
And Betty, yeah.
But you know what? I don't care.
I don't care. I liked it.
Yeah,
I liked it. I enjoyed the movie very much. I I thought it. Yeah, I think it probably was not as good as Homecoming.
What do you think is not as good about it? Because I feel the same way, but I don't know what it is. I think maybe it's tied a little bit too close to the events of Infinity War and Endgame to make it doesn't feel like it stands on its own. Although I guess Homecoming doesn't really feel like it stands on its own either.
Well, I think the difference is that Homecoming is sort of it spins out of Civil War, right? But it's not. It's sort of that was the inciting incident with Civil War. But if Civil War didn't happen, all you would need to do is tell someone before they. If you wanted to show that movie to someone who hadn't seen Civil War, just be like, Tony Stark found him and called him in to fight with the Avengers once. That's it. That's all you need to know.
That's
right?
true.
Just like if you watch Daredevil or something, you could be like, oh yeah, this happened. The Battle of New York happened. Like that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
One thing happened. Now you're caught up. Whereas with Far From Home,
a lot of things
happen, and they're referenced regularly throughout the film.
And they're not just things that happened in the previous Spider-Man film. In fact, most of the things that happened in Homecoming are not referenced at all.
So that's why I think it is more dependent on Infinity War and Endgame. You have to have seen them really to understand most of what's going on in this movie. A lot will go over your head. But I feel like the villain was not as strong and the story was not as tight as Homecoming. That's really my that's why I feel like Homecoming was better, because just Michael Keaton was just such a great villain.
He brought it
in every sense. Nothing against Jake Gyllenhaal, but just I absolutely loved Vulture.
You know what I think it is, though? In that the difference, I believe that Michael Keaton could take Tom Holland in a fight.
Oh yeah.
And I do not believe. I mean, the film doesn't want you to believe that, but I don't think Jake Gyllenhaal can take Tom Holland, or at least Mysterio can't take Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Whereas the Vulture is an actual threat towards Spider-Man. But that all has to do with the character and their tech and whatever else. But that's why I like the illusion scene so much, because anybody he could kill you like that if he really wanted to, like blip.
Yeah, like blip.
Yeah,
with the blip of a finger.
With the blip of a finger.
Yeah.
He could kill you. So, yeah, overall, I dug it.
Yeah. I give it a dig.
I give it a dig.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Well, you can find us at beerwithgeeks.com and Gmail and Facebook and Twitter, and you can also rate and review us on iTunes and find us all the places podcasts can be found. You can head to thoughtbubbleaudio.com to check out all Thought Bubble Audio shows, and of course go to patreon.com/thoughtbubbleaudio to support the show. Frank, did I miss anything? Do you have any final thoughts? Because I cut you off at one point, I think.
No, you're good. No, I don't have any final thoughts. I rather enjoyed recording with you in person. It's nice when I can actually reach across and touch you. Boop.
Boop.
There you go. Blip.
Blip.
Okay. Well, until next time.
Cheers.